Can we be honest about something? February feels very different from January. I mean, of course, January has this energy to it. You wake up on the very first day of the year and it feels very symbolic, like you've been handed a clean page. You tell yourself, this time I'm going to be consistent. This time I'm going to take my health seriously. I won't procrastinate and I won't repeat the same mistakes I made in times past. And it feels very powerful. You may probably change your wallpaper to something that will motivate you. You may buy a notebook. You may rearrange your space. I mean, there's movement. And then February comes and it's quieter. You're not as intense. You're not as fired up and you may skip 1 or 2 days of schedules, and then you start thinking, wait, am I already falling off? But then here's what I think most people get wrong. They assume that the drop in energy means something is wrong with them. And they think maybe I'm just not disciplined, maybe I don't want things as badly enough, or maybe this is just who I am. But then most of the time, that's not true. What actually is happening is much simpler. January was emotional, and emotion is very powerful. But then emotions can be temporary. January feels like a movie scene. New year, new identity, new chapter. But then looking at February feels more like a Tuesday. It's regular life, it's work, it's errands, it's responsibilities, it's being tired, it's dealing with real problems that didn't really disappear because the calendar changed. And when reality sets in, the excitement fades. But that doesn't mean that your goals were fake. It just means that the adrenaline wore off. And here's where people sabotage themselves. When the excitement drops, instead of adjusting their approach, they normally increase the pressure. They add stricter rules, they wake up earlier, they judge themselves harder, and they try to force the January version of themselves to come back. But then pressure cannot recreate the clarity you need. Pressure only ends up creating more tension. Now, let me ask you something. In January, did you try to change everything all at once? I mean, be real with yourself. Your health, your finances, your routines, your reading habits, your screen time, your sleep schedule. I mean, everything all at once. That is not focus. That is overload. And overload feels quite sustainable in the beginning, but then you're running on emotion. Once that emotion fades, the weight of everything you're trying to carry becomes very obvious. This is why February feels heavy for many people. Now, it's not that you're incapable. No, it's just that you're trying to run, let's say, 5 races at the same time. No one can sustain that. And there's something else too. In January, we chase intensity. Now, intensity feels like progress. I mean, when you look at it, it's loud, it's dramatic, and it makes you feel productive even before you've built anything real. But then clarity is different. Clarity is quiet, it doesn't shout, it doesn't rush, and it just knows what matters. And I mean, once you know what matters, you can ignore the rest. If you feel slower right now, that may not be failure. It may actually just be the first honest moment of the year for you. That moment where you realize that you can't do everything. And instead of panicking, I mean, you choose. So here's something practical. Don't restart your whole year. There's no need for that. And I mean, that would normally be the instinct. Like, oh, I fell off, so let me reset everything. No, you need to reduce the number of things you're doing. And to start with, you can choose one area. I mean, one, not five. That could be maybe you going to the gym twice a week instead of 6 times a week. It could be having 1 hour of focused work and not creating a whole new system. It could be you reading maybe just a few pages, it could be 10 pages, and not trying to read an entire book within a few days. Now, if it's your health, you need to focus there. If it's your work, I mean, that's where the focus should be. And if it's, let's say, consistency, well, that is where the focus should be as well. You need to build rhythm in one place. And you need to do that to the point where it becomes almost boring because boring momentum is actually what lasts. Most people quit early into the year because they started January more like a sprint. And when that sprint energy disappears, they assume they're not built for consistency. But maybe you are. Maybe you just started with too much. You don't need the energy you had in January. What you need this month is stability. And stability doesn't feel dramatic. It feels steady, it feels calm, and repeatable. If your pace has slowed down, there's no need to panic. Slow can be intentional, it could be focused, and it can build something that actually survives the year. This month is not about hype, it's about alignment. It's not about doing everything, but then it's actually doing what matters and doing it long enough to see growth. If this feels familiar, you're not alone. You're not broken. You're just adjusting from emotion to intention. That's from January to February. And that shift, that's where real momentum begins. What's one thing you're choosing to focus on this month? You may want to drop it in the comments, or maybe just think about it. February doesn't need to feel like you're falling behind. It can be the month where you finally figured out what matters. Thanks for watching. This has been Kafui, and I'll catch you in the next one.